Gather round, young'uns, I'm gonna tell you the story of Half-Life, FullLife Consequences. The best story of all time, created by the one and only master storyteller, squirrelking on FanFiction.
No, but seriously, this is the worst story I've read, and yet it's the best story I've read. It's full of plot holes and inconsistencies and spelling and grammar and punctuation and syntax errors, but it's so enjoyable in spite of all that. It's like Axe Cop on YouTube. A story created by a 5-year-old kid and turned into one of the best stories ever. Except I'm pretty sure that Squirrel King is a lot older than 5. Although, to be fair, I think he might be trying to type in English, and he's actually French Canadian or something. Anyway, this is the story. The most awesome, epic, action-packed story you will ever hear. And it's called HalfLife, FullLife Consequences. John Freeman, who is Gordon Freeman's brother, has to do what has to be done and help Gordon Freeman defeat the enemies. John Freeman, who was Gordon Freeman's brother, was one day in an office typing on a computer. He got an email from his brother that said that aliens and monsters were attacking his place and asked him for help. So he went. John Freeman got his computer shut down and went on the platform to go up to the roof of the building, where he left his motorcycle and normal people clothes because he was in his office lab coat. John Freeman got on his motorcycle and said, "It's time for me to live up to my family name and face full life consequences." So he had to go. John Freeman ramped off the building and did a backflip and landed. He kept driving down the road and made sure that there was no zombies around because he didn't have a weapon. The countrysides were nice, and the plants were singing, and the birds and the sun was almost down from the top of the sky. The mood was set for John Freeman's quest to help his brother where he was. John Freeman looked around the countrysides and said, "It's a good day to do what has to be done by me and help my brother to defeat the enemies." John Freeman was late, so he had to drive really fast. A cop car was hidden nearby, so when John Freeman went by, the cops came and wanted to give him a ticket. Here John Freeman saw the first monster, because the cop was possessed and had head crabs. "I can't give you my license, officer," John Freeman said. "Why not?" said the head crab officer back to John Freeman. "Because you are head crab zombie." So John Freeman shot the officer in the head and drove off, thinking, "My brother is in trouble there," and went faster. John Freeman had to go faster, like the speed of sound, and got there fast because Gordon needed him where he was. John Freeman looked at road signs and saw a raven home with summons writing under it saying, "Oo shouldn't come here." So John Freeman almost turned around, but heard screaming like Gordon, so he went faster again. John Freeman drove in and did another flip and jumped off his motorbike, and the motorbike took out some head crab zombies in front of John Freeman. John Freeman smiled and walked fast. John Freeman then looked on the ground and found weapons, so he picked it up and fired fast at zombie ghosts in front of a house. John Freeman said, "Zombie ghosts, leave this place." And the zombie ghost said, "But this is our house." Brains. And John Freeman felt sorry for them because they couldn't live there anymore because they were zombie ghosts. So he blew up the house and killed the zombie ghosts so they were at peace. One single piece. Then John Freeman heard another scream from his brother, so he kept walking really faster to get where he was. Ravenholm was nothing like the countrysides. There was no birds singing, and the pants were dead, and the dirt was messy and bloody from head crabs. When John Freeman got to where the screaming was started from, he found his brother Gordon Freeman fighting the final boss, and Gordon said, "John Freeman, over here!" So John Freeman went there to where Gordon Freeman was fighting. John Freeman fired his bullet from the gun really fast, and the bullets went in and shot the final boss in the eyes, and the final boss couldn't see. Gordon Freeman said, "It's time to end this once and for all," and punched the final boss in the face, and the final boss fell. John Freeman said, "Thanks I could help, bro." And Gordon Freeman said, "You should come here earlier next time." And they left. The laugh over quickly, though, because John Freeman yelled, "Look out, bro!" and pointed up to the top of the sky. Gordon Freeman looked up and said, "No!" "John Freeman, run out of here as fast as you can!" And John Freeman walked real fast out. John Freeman looked back and saw Gordon get stepped on by the next boss, and he was mad and angry. "I'll get you back, evil boss!" John Freeman yelled at the top of lungs. To be continued. Seriously, this is just the gold standard of horrible, amazing stories. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. This guy took the worst command of the English language. He mixed it in with a bunch of plot holes and nonsense, and he added just the right amount of action and adventure and madness and a 5-year-old's wonder, and came up with this. And it's not even the last story of its kind. He's got like 2 more. One is called What Has to Be Done, and the other is called Free Man. Now, I'm not going to spoil much for you, but I will say that they do help to sort of tie the story together, and it really does have this sort of timeless message. I mean, it's an awful message, or rather it's portrayed, it's presented awfully, but it's still a timeless message, and I can feel this kid's teenage angst just pouring out in the form of violent revolt against the man. I am just cracking up here by how funny and awesome this story is. So stay tuned, because next time we're going to read HalfLife, FullLife Consequences, What Has to Be Done.